BBC denounces propaganda by Nigerian government agents, claiming British media apologized for Lekki massacre reportage. As disinformation by paid agents of the General Muhammadu Buhari regime reaches unprecedented levels, the British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC) has had to come out and denounce a propagated fake news by government agents that it apologized for its reportage on the Lekki massacre. The BBC in its tweet said, "Fake news alert. We don't see this story they fly up and down for WhatsApp and Facebook. This na fake news. BBC stand by every report wey we dey do about wetin happen for Lekki tollgate as we been dey there when the shooting start." The reaction was in a response to the below fake news snippet, which has been widely spread by government agents in their desperate battle to deny justice for the dead and injured dozens of the Lekki massacre. "We apologize in our report on the Lekki massacre in Lagos, Nigeria. Almost all the misinformations we got were fake and misleading." The BBC. The BBC quickly denied this so-called apology as concocted by Adebayo Saheed Adeyemi. And of course, they replied on Twitter, as what I said. How the Nigerian government hides political thugs' Twitter talks to obscure protest. Twitter has recently been closing thousands of fake news accounts being opened daily by agencies and paid agents of the Nigerian government for the purposes of distorting the reality of the news and protest with purposeful misinformation, with ultimate goal, the final clampdown of free speech. The Nigerian government invests billions of naira in paying political thugs to turn peaceful protest violent. Likewise, invest massive sums in a disinformation army who create fake Twitter handles and create similar to those of concerned citizens, then use these to propagate fake stories related to the protests and demands of true Nigerians. This so later once the many fake are seen, the images of the real horrors and atrocities will be hard to find and buried in the sand of fake news, along with the bodies mass buried by Army General Buratai. Well, of course, this shows the extent that the Nigerian government will go. And again, the BBC is a very reliable source. I mean, obviously, because it's the BBC and it's an international, company, does not mean that it's exempt from any flaws. But it's good that they came out to clear out their name. Even though, yes, the BBC, with its history, you might say that fine, it's unreliable and stuff, but they've come out to say this doesn't mean you have to go with it and run with that narrative. But yes, with the Nigerian government paying a lot of news agencies to not report the cases, it can show the skepticism of the citizens are justified, because I think Anonymous on Twitter revealed the letter that was sent to all media houses the night before the planned Crocodile Smile operation. Well, the first opinion here says, "God is great, no more fake news from the zoo called Nigeria." And another person says, "The president is doing everything humanly possible to cover up all their evil. Truth must surely surface. You cannot cover the truth." But the thing is, they obviously can't, because we have the media. As the masses, we have the media, and we have to strategically use it to our advantage so that, when it comes to sharing the news, and of course I think it has worked a lot of the time, because even international bodies and international people have said something about it. Someone says, "We never believe them. They lie on a daily basis, and God on his infinite wisdom knew the man that will be their spokesperson and named him lie from birth." Buhari government can lie, even the devil have rejected them, rejected stones. Again, it's not surprising that the government would go hand in hand with media houses to push out a narrative. But again, just because the BBC has said to, does not mean that we should just run with it and be like, okay, fine. Because if you look at the history of the BBC, looking back to the Biafran War and its foundations and the news it has been reporting over the years, I think right now they're beginning to change, because people, you'd say they're sensitive, but actually they're looking deeply into the things that they do. So just because the BBC says, "Oh yeah, we didn't issue an apology," or whatever happened, does not mean we can run with it, because again, they are also responsible in other big events, worldwide events. They're also responsible for pushing out false narratives that were in support of the government. And you cannot be surprised about that. Someone says, please let us keep posting and reporting. They are even afraid of the consequences of their crime. And that's the thing, even with Twitter reposting right now, it's even more hectic, or the process is not as convenient as it was before. Like before on Twitter, for you to retweet, you just click retweet and it's done. But now you have to retweet, it opens a new window and you have to retweet again. So that's the thing. The process to do that is not as convenient as it was before. Maybe it's sort of like a tactic to make people tired. And inconvenience is something that can really push people away from activity in any activity online, to be honest. Another person says it's good the BBC clears the air and distance itself from this evil leader who they think can bribe their way out. And that's the thing, I feel like, okay, fine, they've made their names, but it doesn't mean we should run with it, because there are a lot of international companies or international bodies, or even countries, world powers, who are in a way sort of funding or supporting one way or the other the things that are happening in Nigeria. But that's a story for another day. Another comment says, who is doing this to Nigeria's reputation amongst the international community? The person who gave this false report should be hanged. I think we've gone past that point, even though, yes, Nigeria is really, really diverse in terms of like the thinking of its people and the culture, but hanging somebody is not really the way right now. Another person says, surprising of the Nigerian government, old people always lying. A country where old people that are supposed to stand on the truth lie. What do you expect? I think the more scary thing is that, we talk about other African countries saying, oh, their leaders have been there for 35 years. It's basically the same with us. They basically are there, but then they bring in new faces. They just change the faces. It doesn't mean that the orchestrators have changed. The faces that are presented to us have been the one that has changed, and the party has remained the same, to be honest. So again, when you talk about these old men still in power, they've been in power since they were 25, and it's very, very alarming, I would say. According to all this, what do you think about this? Do you think it's a wise thing for BBC to come out and clear their names because they're an international sort of brand and corporation? Do you think it's a wise thing? And what do you have to say about the Nigerian government going to media houses and paying media houses to basically change the narrative and control the minds of the people and make them seem like as if, it wasn't that deep? Put what you think about all this in the comment section below. And do not forget to like and subscribe.